Hello, and welcome back to the Membership IQ. I'm Sarah Sladek, your host. And big news, we are now streaming on Apple iTunes. So check us out, Membership IQ. Be sure to subscribe. This is where you go to get smart about membership. And I am so glad that you are here. Now, if you are a fan and you've been following this show for a while, you know that we do an audio podcast as well as a video podcast. And I usually have a prop or jokes, or I do something, a costume, I do something that's light and fun. Well, not today. Not today. So if you're not in the mood for something serious, you might want to skip this one because I'm going to tackle something serious, something that's on my heart. I just received an incredible honor, and it's something I'm so very proud of. I was just listed on a global list of women who advance associations. It was a lovely surprise, very unexpected, and I am humbled, so humbled to be in company of some really amazing association leaders. So when I received notice of this recognition, man, I was so excited. I was so proud and just had all the feels, right? All the feels. But that quickly transitioned into something else. And I could not help but stop to think, why? Why do we have to be still to this day so incredibly intentional about separating out certain demographics of people to recognize them or include them? Whether it's age or gender or race or how many years of experience, whatever the case may be, we're really good at society of separating people into pockets based on their physical traits, and this is not fair. It's not equitable. It's not inclusive. Regrettably, we have to do this. We have to do this because we're not living in a fair, equitable, inclusive society. We're struggling to make that adaptation. We're struggling from being, centuries of male-dominated society, and men having more opportunities, and for a variety of reasons, variety, and I'm certainly not male bashing. That's not my point. But I wish that we could get to this place of what we have long dreamed of. The Civil Rights Act was signed into law in 1964. 1964. We are almost 60 years past that date. 60 years. Really think about that. And we are still trying to achieve things like diversity, equity, inclusion, trying to achieve things like positive relationships across people of all races. And gender is another frontier, as is age. You all know that I talk a lot about generations and about age discrimination. Age discrimination is the last accepted form of discrimination in our society. We've got a long ways to go with that. But also gender fits in there. And it wasn't long after the Civil Rights Act was signed into law that the women's rights movement took place. And here we are, similar situation about 55 years later. And we're still grappling with situations all the time. If you aren't aware of gender discrimination, you aren't paying attention. And it's not just about the Me Too movements and things like that. It's, it was just recently that I was sitting in a client's board meeting, and they had invited in some volunteer leaders, and it was a town hall, and there was lots of discussion about the future of the association. And a woman raised her hand and she said, you know what I really hate about this organization, as much as I love it, something I really hate is that I cannot serve as president of the board, but my husband could. I can't serve as president of the board because the way the bylaws are written, because I took a few years off of my career to raise children, I am not allowed to serve on the board. And she said very passionately, these bylaws are so incredibly outdated. These bylaws are discriminating against women. That's just one example. Me, myself, yes, I have faced lots of discrimination ever since starting my career. And even very recently, I had to involve an attorney when a male CEO, get this, a male CEO of a competing company began to engage in libelous, slanderous activity against me and my company. And I do not even know this individual. And it was all through social media. It was very public. And I thought, if I was a guy, would this happen? No, probably not. But because I am a woman, it seems acceptable to literally try to destroy someone's reputation, family, and company, financial well-being. I feel so passionate about this. I volunteer much of my time to women's and girls' organizations. Tomorrow, I will be sworn into a Girl Scout Board of Directors role for the second time. 2 different Girl Scout groups. I actively serve and volunteer for the NABO, National Association of Women Business Owners, and I continue to give charitably to organizations that support women and girls because I believe and I know that we have a long way to go. I think it was the Virginia Slims ad that used to say, "You've come a long way, baby." Well, guess what? We still have a long way to go. And I call upon associations to, keep recognizing. It is a good thing to recognize women who advance associations. It's an honor, but don't just stop there. It's not just checking a box and saying, well, sure, we are very inclusive. We are very equitable because we recognize women once a year. Good enough. No, it's time to really look within. Look within your organization and ask yourself in every single aspect, at every single level, does everyone feel like they belong? Are they using their voice? Are they invited to use their voice? Do they have equitable opportunities? Are we open and inviting to them? I think something that was really just kind of heartfelt was seeing all the social media posts about this special recognition and someone actually saying, yes, finally, women are being recognized. Man, we have come a long way, but we have a long ways to go. And associations need to take the lead. They need to start with bylaws, start with boards, start with staff, start with membership community, start with really looking, are we segmenting people or are we really truly building a culture of belonging for everyone, regardless of race, gender, age, background? We can do better. Thank you.